This is my 1917 Herschede clock 9 tube. What's unique about this one, this is a 2-weight, and boy, everybody told me to stay away from it. They tend to be hard to work on, but I wanted this one. I wanted this one because you can't find them. They're getting rare. They're a little bit more of a challenge. The case was beautiful. We still have, we probably have 7-8 hours of scrubbing this thing. It had nicotine and film, all kinds of stuff all over it. But from back in the day, that's what everybody did. So anyway, the cool part is we're still going to do a complete tear down and oil and polish everything. But we're able to get it running, find the issues that it had. Had a click spring on this side. You see my gloves falling apart, but click spring over here that we need to replace. So we were winding the weight. I think the weight was falling on. We're not holding it all. Now, the biggest thing with these 2-weight Herschede clocks, one gentleman pointed out here, these little snail tracks is what they're called. They're made out of a certain type of metal. I guess wear out quite a bit. Luckily, knock on wood, this one's in great shape. Now, believe it or not, if you know much about these, let me show you here. Get down here, and then if you look over here, once it starts going, let's see. So it uses the combs, and then this is how it resets, and that's a halfway point. But what we found is that it wasn't playing this music right. It was getting stuck, and all it was that piece of metal right there, welded on, little spot weld. And the reason that's so important is you have to reset this comb, and there's a little pin over here, and that pin has to pop out and start in the top of that little track. And I'm probably not making sense. People don't know anything about this one, but it's pretty cool, and it's sounding really good. You see it going there. Now, another thing, we put these tubes back the way that we purchased the clock. We just took a picture, put them back, but they're not in there right. Actually, the chime tube is over here. I always knew the long was on the right, but we put it back the way we got it. But this is actually, the chime side's on this side, the hour chime. So we need to move those and rack those over. So the sounds are off just a little bit, but at least we're making sure this is going to work. So as it goes. Apologize for that. I just want to get you guys a light here. So you can see that pin on that snail track that's going around. And now it's chiming on the chime side. That snail is going to come around that little pin. Now it's on the inside. It's kind of hard to see, but you see it coming around that silver pin on the inside between those two pieces. Okay, now it stops. Okay, so now we're at the hour, and the whole process got to start over again. Apologize, the light sucks here. So when you engage, you got a pin that comes around. Little pin right in there. You see it's got oil all over the place. And a little pin right there, and grabs this lever, which pushes this comb back in place. And like I said, this piece of metal over here was bent, and we're probably going to actually throw. We're going to take this all apart, but at least we know what we're doing, what needs to be taken care of. But when we take it apart, we're probably going to have to do something with that weld and just make sure it holds up. So now you'll see up here, this whole comb has to come over, and that pin has to jump all the way out to the start of that snail, or the snail track, however you want to call it. So as it comes over, you watch this one. See it pushing? Now this is what it was doing. It was coming out that far and then stopping. But that's not far enough. Now as I keep going to the 15-minute mark, it's going to come all the way out and then pops. And now it's sitting. The snail's sitting in the beginning of the track where it's supposed to be. And now when it starts going again, there it goes. There's our first quarter hour. And that's the number one issue with these 2-weight. Is that little sucker right there. And besides the fact that these things just, Herschede clocks love oil, and somebody doused this in oil, but It needs to be cleaned. But you know, even though it looks bad right now, the people we got it from, they did a good job keeping it serviced. It's been sitting for a long, long time. It hasn't been running in a while because it quit working and it was broken. And they were giving all kinds of crazy estimates. So they just, you know, fortunately, the person passed that had it. And, you know, I was lucky enough to get it. This will be in my family forever. But I've wanted one of these really, really bad. But, you know, like I said, a lot of people stay away from these. And I think if you want one of these, you know, some people have worked on them, and yes, that piece there, if it gets worn out, that's a nightmare, and you just got to get another one or find one. I've heard there's somebody's making those. I don't know if I can find the contact information, but apparently there's a better design than that one. But this is an older one from 1917, 1916, somewhere in there. But like I said, it's we fixed everything, and then we fixed a little piece over here. But the regular time side's easy to take care of. But the rest of it, you know, it's not as bad as people say. You know, like, they got a bad reputation. Even one book about them kind of called them the oddball clocks. But I really think they're cool, man. You know, sometimes these clocks, and like, well, I do a lot of watches, and, you know, all those kind of high-end watches that are out there that were ugly and no one liked in the beginning are worth 10 times what the popular watches were. And a lot of us kind of think that's how this clock's going to go. It's going to be one that you're never going to see because nobody liked them. They want to work on them. And if you got one that's running, it's going to be pretty unique. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. And like I said, I'm going to tear it down and do a whole cleaning and put it all back together. And just, we're going to polish it up, polish the pivots. Just go through a lot of things that need to be taken care of on it that, you know, typical Herschede clocks need anyway. We're also going to work on the tubes. So I'll try to make a video, because I know when I was looking on YouTube and everywhere, there's one gentleman that had a great video. But I think that was the only one I saw. And he had the 5-tube version, but that's still, you know, it's still the basic same thing. This one just got 9 tubes. And if you probably notice, it's kind of wild how they stack them. You know, we have the 4 in the front and you got the 5 in the back. Which some people don't like that, some people do. But I will say this, if you're looking at it quickly from glance, you would think, oh, it's just a 5-tube. But you get up close, you can see it's a lot more than that. It's a little picky that you got to make sure you have it in here and you have it in here level. That's the only thing I didn't quite like about it. You don't have very much room between the tubes. So if you have any resonating, or if they, you know, tend to sway, I got concrete girder beam and everything right under this. So it's not, there's no movement here in the floor. But if you have somewhere it's going to have movement, they tend to ding together a little bit more than I like. But, you know, that's probably the only other thing I would say. Like I said, if you see one, I wouldn't be too terribly scared to get it. I'm kind of surprised how much, you know, how many people had terrible things to say about it. But I can definitely see it probably need a lot more maintenance and stay on top of things. And if you don't like, you know, if you don't do it yourself, or you don't like paying somebody to do it, I mean, you should always service all your clocks, but this one probably needs just a little bit more than most. But it's still pretty cool and it's pretty rare, so that's what I love the most about it. So anyway, hopefully this video's gotten crazy long, but you can see that little snail track in there. There it is right there. That's pretty cool how they made that work. There's a little better. But yeah, so I'll make another video, have it polished up, looking pretty again. But it's cool to see this thing running after who knows how long. Anyway, well, thanks for watching. Bye.